You might be feeling like something's wrong with you for still grieving the loss of a relationship or the loss of a friendship or the loss of a pet or another loved one. You feel as if this process needs to go faster, or you feel or you ask yourself, I should be over this by now, or I should be done with this sadness. Or people reflect back to you, are you still sad about that? Are you still not healed from that? And it's a very common experience, also a very common internal experience, that we question that process. And I would like to speak to that part in you that knows that there is no time frame for that. There is no hurry. There is no supposed to or shoulds present in that process. Healing from a goodbye, healing from a letting go of someone or something that was very dear to you, that you loved very dearly, that you connected with on so many levels, takes time. And I think many people avoid allowing that grief to be truly there, to be really present with that feeling of sadness and perhaps even despair, hopelessness, powerlessness. All these feelings are very uncomfortable to feel. And I have been avoiding a deep sense of grief inside me for a long time. Because in my family, my mom is someone who has, understandably so, very limited capacity to hold space for this deep sadness, this deep grief. And perhaps it has been like that in your family or in your surroundings as well, that you feel like there is some heavy, dense emotion inside, but I can't really let it be there, or I'm afraid to connect with it, or I'm afraid to show it because people have repeatedly tried to take away that feeling or try to change it, or don't be sad, don't be angry, don't feel this way, don't feel that way. It's a very normal response from people to do that because they are afraid themselves. They're afraid of what it touches in them. They are afraid of feelings of guilt, regret, remorse, so many things. It's really complicated to hold space for a person's deep suffering. And yet, the healing of that suffering, of that injury, of that rupture, of that emotional wound takes time. And you know that it takes time. And you have been questioning that. And I would like to create a possible reality where you no longer need to question that, where you can just allow for your system to heal and process at its own natural pace. I had a very profound therapy session yesterday with a person who is guiding me to such depths, with such respect and such care and such attention to detail and such acceptance and appreciation and reverence for the process of unfolding these deeper layers. And I touched on an experience of feeling as if I'm some kind of volcano where there's lava pouring out of the volcano. It's very slowly. It's just pouring out of it. And the lava, it's hot, but it's not burning hot. The outer edges of the lava, it's a very viscous liquid. They slowly just trickle down the edge of the volcano, and they're warm. They can keep you warm. You're not going to be burned when you touch it, but it's warm. But the inside of the lava is burning hot. So if you touch that part, you burn yourself. It's really, really hot. And you actually don't want to touch it unless you want to get burned. And sometimes you want to get burned just to see what it does, but it's very hot. And you can also cook an egg on it if you'd like. So it's a lot of energy in there. But the outer edges, it's a closed kind of like bubble of lava. It feels nice and warm, and like it's cozy, it's comfy. And this lava is just trickling down the volcano, and it slowly moves across the landscape, very slowly. And then suddenly the lava just starts to sink into the soil really slowly. It starts to really seep into the earth very slowly, just down, down, so down. I feel this downwards experience also in my body. It feels like I'm melting into the earth. And then out of that, trees and plants start to grow. And I had this experience of realizing that me sinking into that grief, into that heaviness, taking the time it needs. This is the medicine. This is going to nurture the earth so that other plants can take up the nutrients and grow at their own pace again. So much time in that process. It goes really slow. Because when I tune into rushing that process, for example, trying to rush the lava or trying to do something with it, you pierce it, the bubble, it explodes, and this heat burns and scorches the earth, and it just hits the superficial layer of the ground. There is no time to seep in and nourish the earth with its nutrients. It's burning, it's scorching everything. It's not doing anything. It's not good to try and rush the lava. It needs to settle. It needs to sink into the earth really, really slowly so they can feed the organisms that are living there instead of burning them, instead of being superficially on the top layer of the earth. It takes time. And by allowing that time, taking the time, you nurture yourself and everyone around you. And then a vision came where this lava is coming at me. It's this massive amount of lava. It's massive. It's almost infinite amounts. And I feel scared. It's coming. I feel scared. It's so big. It's so vast. slowly, gently, just approaching me, so I can feel there is a fear, but there is also, it's friendly. It's not there to hurt me. I just feel like, so scary, this lava, and it keeps coming. And then I had the experience where the lava goes into my heart space, and then it expands like that. Oh, it creates an unlimited space. It's an infinite space to hold people's emotions, to hold sadness, to hold anger, to hold all these different feelings. It's an infinite space. And I was feeling my arms growing side to side. They're really stretching. So my fingers stretching, my arms stretching, everything stretching so far, creating almost like an infinite hug around the world. It's like a circle, and my hands would go and touch in this infinite circle. So they're extending, they're wrapping around the whole universe in some way. And then I don't remember what she said. She asked me some question, and she said, what does it feel like, or something? And then all of a sudden I kind of, the circle comes in and it closes, and I start to wrap my hands around my body. I start crying. I start crying so much. And I realize this whole space that I want to offer, I also need to bring it inside and offer the same space to all this grief that's here, all the anger that's here, all the emotions that are here. I need to offer that space to this place as well. And I start hugging myself and I start feeling into it, and it starts to feel like the sensations I had earlier when I was imagining the lava sinking into the soil. It starts to feel like that. And I start crying even more because I realize that the giving space to myself, listening to my needs, listening to the grief that's there, letting it be there fully, holding space for it, not trying to run away or distract myself or try to rush it. None of that. Me doing that is what is creating the nutrients in the soil. It's the sinking of the nutrients in the soil so that other beings can emerge from that at their own pace and grow. It supports their growth. It feeds them. It feeds them. And so I came to understand that the most important thing is to hold space for all the emotions that are here. That is the most important thing that I can do. And that includes being honest about what I need whenever I need it. That includes understanding that other people's perhaps lack of capacity to hold certain emotions has nothing to do with me. It is my responsibility to create that space within so I can be with that intensity, to be with that vast landscape, that vast internal landscape, so I can be with that. So I no longer look for another person to hold space for this. I can hold it within. And it shifted so powerfully my awareness of my own boundaries. When somebody asks me to do something, I can listen deeply and feel, is this serving me, or am I doing this in order to gain approval or to avoid some kind of rejection? If I'm really honest, is this what I need right now? Yes or no? And if it's not what I need, I can say, thank you so much for the invitation, and it's not what I need right now. And then I don't need to be afraid of the rejection, because I can hold space for all that is in me, and I no longer need that validation from someone else. And then from that place, when I'm in that place, I can still decide. I choose for myself to now be there for another person instead of needing to be there for them in order to justify my own existence. That has been a huge journey for me to slowly uncover that and to understand that to take care of myself first. In all honesty, if it's true for me that right now I need to rest, or right now I need to go outside, or right now I need to call a friend, or right now I need to eat something, if that's true for me, then I need to attend to that with the greatest respect and reverence, with a deep commitment to meeting that need and treating as if it is really important. I have noticed that I start to understand more and more the importance of ritual, to take time to do something and act as if it is really important. You know, going to sleep, I put some candles, I put an incense, I play some music, I make sure my bed is nicely made, I make sure my room is clean and tidy. It's a ritual, but if you do it intentionally with intention and treat it as if it's important, you do it just for yourself. Nobody's there, nobody watch me do that. But the act of making it important is such a powerful message to yourself that you are important. You take the time for yourself to be attentive, to be mindful, to pay attention. Treat yourself as if you are important, including everything: your sadness, your anger, your frustration, your fears, your joy, your courage, your cowardliness, your anything. Treat it as if it's important. And by doing that, you create so much more space inside you that can allow you to then act from a place of love instead of fear. And knowing that, truly connecting with that inside you, other people's judgments, criticisms, worry, whatever, it doesn't affect you anymore when you're in that place. Now when a person tells me, "Are you still sad about that?" then I say, "Yes, I am still very sad about that. And maybe I will still be sad about that for the next 15 years. I don't know. If that's the case, then I am still so sad about that in 15 years. That is my feeling, that's my sadness. And I don't need to rush that, or I don't need to get rid of that. It is part of who I am. It is part of who you are. Whatever feelings you carry inside, those are part of who you are. So how do you want to truly accept yourself if you only like yourself when you are happy or not sad or helpful or productive or all these things? How are you supposed to find true, deep inner peace if the love for yourself is conditional? How are you supposed to do that? And it is such a scary thing to go there, to really feel into what is true for you, and to know that it is true for you and that it is the right thing for you to do. And that even if another person doesn't understand, or even if another person has judgments or criticisms about this, that you still commit to that truth inside you without the need for justification, without the need to change or to try and change, to fit in, to gain their approval or their acceptance. As an adult, we no longer need to do that. As a child, we had to, because we were dependent. And as we grow older, we get the opportunity to understand that this is no longer true. We can, in fact, speak up. We can, in fact, take care of our own needs. We can, in fact, say no when something doesn't feel right for us. We can, in fact, admit that, yes, I am still sad. That's true for me. I am still very sad. And I want to attend to that with the greatest respect and the deepest care, because it is a very tender place. And if you have no capacity to hold that, then I think it is better that we are not spending time together in this configuration right now. It might change in the future. Maybe I feel less weighed down by this, maybe less in a vulnerable, tender place. And then we can reconnect again. No problem. But right now, I need to attend to what is true for me. And I need to treat that as if it's really, really important. So my invitation to you is, maybe you can ask yourself, where are you trying to change the truth that lives inside you in order to fit in order to avoid rejection, in order to gain approval? And what would it be like to find that place inside you that knows this is true and that is fearless, that is coming from a place of love? Where is that space? Can you find that? And what does it feel like when you can act from that place. Perhaps it can bring you something new. I know it did for me, and it is doing that for me. I am going through that process very much right now. The process of realizing how much grief and anger live inside me, and how I can hold space for that within and allow it to be there. It is a very scary process, and at the same time it is the only way to find inner peace and acceptance of who you are. Thanks for watching.